good morning, or whenever you watch this video. I hope you all is doing great around this pandemic era. First, it's very an honor to stay here and deliver a presentation to you because I've been waiting for this change from the first time we start the lesson. I mean the first class meeting. Online class meeting. But before I start the presentation, let me introduce myself. My name is Nilugada Yuptri Susanti. My number is 24 and I'm from the 12th grade of Science Class A. Okay, so the topic of my presentation today is of course about an application letter, or specifically about a cover letter. As we know, the cover letter is very useful for our future, especially to apply for a job. So I hope this presentation will be helpful and lead us to get more knowledge about a cover letter or application letter so that we can use it for our future. In this presentation, I will cover several main points such as definition of cover letter, social function of cover letter, the structure of cover letter, the language expressions, how to write a good cover letter, the vocabulary that we can find in cover letter, and I'll also include my example of cover letter, and the last part is the reflection of the lesson. A cover letter is a one-page document commonly submitted with a job application outlining the applicant's credentials and interests in the open position. It's also known as a one-page document that introduces a job seeker's work history, his professional skills, and personal interest in applying for a job. The main purpose of cover letter is to apply for a job, but there's also several social functions of cover letter. The first one is to interest the employer in reading your resume. That's why you should make sure that your cover letter is good enough in order to get the interest of the employer. The second one is to express the interest in attending or receiving a position. So show them that you are really want to get that position by putting some effort on your cover letter. So just make sure again that you are really doing great on your cover letter. And the last but not least is of course to get a job from a company. Next, we're gonna talk about the structure of cover letter. So in cover letter we have 9 parts of the structure. There are applicant's address, date, employer's address, salutation, opening paragraph, body of letter, closing paragraph, closing, and the last one is signature. The first part is applicant's address. In this part, you can put your name, your address, your telephone number, your email address, or for optional, you can put your LinkedIn profile, your mailing address, or your portfolio maybe, or your website. The second part is date. You can write the date with American style or British style. The difference is in American we use cardinal number, but in British style we use ordinal number. The next part is about the employer's address. In this part you can put the employer's name, the job title, the company's name and address, or if you can get more information you can put the company's phone number and the employer's email address. Next part is salutation. In this part you can just put like dear sir or dear madam, or maybe dear Mr. or dear Mrs. Okay, so after the salutation we have opening paragraph that mentions your years of relevant experience, how you found out about the job, and why you are interested in the position. Make sure you use the correct job title here, or else so the employer will think you are sending out a generic cover letter. Next part is body of letter that provide examples of your professional accomplishments, skills, and work experience. These examples should all tie into why you are the best fit for the role. The first one, you can include the bullet points in this section to highlight your greatest relevant achievements. The second one, using numbers to outline these achievements makes their significance more apparent to the hiring manager. After the body of letter, we have closing paragraph that expresses your interest again and restates why you are the right candidate for the job. You can mention whether you prefer to be contacted by phone or email here as well. If you prefer phone calls, you can provide sometimes when you are available. Next part is closing. In this part, you can put some expressions like yours sincerely, yours faithfully, sincerely, best, or best regards. After the closing, we have signature. It includes your full name plus your sign. The next point is language expressions. The first one is what you can say to refer a position. The second one is what you can write when pointing out significant qualification. The third one is what you can say in highlighting your strengths. And the fourth one is what you can say in referring to future interview. Next point is how to write a good cover letter. The first one is keep it brief. You can put a couple of paragraphs or a third or a half page. The second one is personalize it. Make it personal. Don't use the same cover letter for each job you apply. The third one is find the name. Do your best to get the name of the person who is recruiting you using Google, LinkedIn, social media, or by call up the company. If you can't get the name, don't write to whom it may concern. Better use dear sir or madam or dear hiring manager. It's still much better if you write the name, but don't panic. It's okay, at least you already put many efforts on it. Next is you should put it in the body of the email and check the spelling and the grammar. Make sure the spelling and the grammar is already perfect so it will be more catchy. Next is write the cover letter in formal but friendly style, because if it's too formal you will sound distant and cold, or if it's too friendly, well, that's not good either. Next is use active sentence. For example, instead of saying I was employed as a technical assistant for 2 years, you can say I work as a technical assistant for 2 years. Next is don't use the word very. You can replace it with another word. For example, instead of saying I'd be very happy to meet you, do say I'd love to meet you. And don't be too friendly. Never use emoji, don't use Comic Sans or ringdings or a cursive font. Next is use the first name if you have known the hiring manager to a contact, and use Mr. or Mrs. plus surname if you don't have a personal connection to them. Next point is vocabulary. Here I add some vocabulary that we can find in cover letter, plus the meaning in bahasa. So this is my example of cover letter based on the structure of cover letter. Here's the details. The first one, we have applicant's address, and then we have the date, the employer's address, salutation, the opening paragraph, the body of letter, closing paragraph, closing, and then signature. Okay, so before I learned this material, I think I didn't really know about application letter before. I just know that if you want to get a job, then you should make a letter called application letter. And then when I learning this material, I found so many struggle on it, especially at creating a cover letter. I don't know why, but I think it's so difficult for me to arrange words into a good sentences and then combine them into a good paragraph. And also, it's so many rules on it, and it makes me so confused. But at the end after I learned this material, I think I'm so glad that I can learn this material this semester. Because, of course, you know that in the future, we use this kind of letter to get a job. I mean, when we want to get a job, then we use this kind of letter. So we should learn how to make it from now. And also, I want to say thank you because I can learn many more new things from this material, especially about the definition, the social function, the structure, the language features, the vocabulary, how to write a good cover letter, and then many more about this cover letter. Okay, so that brings us to the end of my presentation. I'd like to say thank you for your time and your attention today. I hope you have a great day, and goodbye. Good morning.